So the last video I did on Willow Glen, I actually got some people reaching out to me and asking me, hey Michael, what exactly are the different types of home styles that we will see and what home style would fit us best? So I wanted to take a few minutes to sit down and go through the different types of homes that you'll see in Willow Glen and which style might fit you best. Willow Glen isn't just a neighborhood where everything was built at the same time. You don't get one matching look from block to block. You can turn a corner and feel like you jumped a few decades forward or even a few decades back. So in this video, I'm really going to slow things down and walk you through the main types of home you'll see in Willow Glen. Not from a textbook point of view, but from the everyday side. What they feel like to live in, how they work, and what kind of person usually ends up happiest in each home. So why does Willow Glen feel so mixed? Well, Willow Glen looks the way it does because it was built over a very long period of time. It was not one giant master plan where everything went up in a 5-year span. Homes came in waves, and depending on what was going on in the economy and what buyers wanted at the time, it dictated what sort of style home was built. That's why you see early 1900s homes, you see classic bungalows, mid-century ranches, you see Eichlers. And then in the newer homes, you'll see more modern, you'll see giant architecture. All these are mixed together on these beautiful tree-lined streets. That variety is a big part of the charm of Willow Glen. So let's break down the main styles you'll see. Let's start with some of the oldest homes you'll see in Willow Glen. Victorians and older classic cottages. These are the ones that usually catch your eye right away. They often have taller roofs, big bay windows, and detailed trim, so they can look a little fancier than the homes around them. Even when they aren't huge on paper, they feel more substantial because of the height and shape. With this style home, front porches are very common, and that alone changes how you connect with the street and neighborhood. You're much more likely to sit outside, wave to neighbors, and feel plugged into what's happening around you. Inside, these homes usually feel more formal. Rooms are more separate. A living room here, a dining room there, bedrooms that aren't as big as what you see in newer homes, ceilings that are often very high, which helps the home feel more open, but the layout is more broken up. This is where expectations matter. If you're used to one big great room where the kitchen, dining room, and family room are all in one big space, a Victorian can feel very chopped up or inefficient. But if you love character, original trim, wood floors, older doors, maybe even stained glass, this is the kind of home that you will fall in love with. The people who are happiest in these homes don't need everything to be perfect on paper. They're okay with quirky closets, odd room sizes, and the fact that an older home will need more care over time. In return, they get a ton of personality and a sense of history they won't find in something newer. Next up, let's talk about Craftsman bungalows, which you see all over Willow Glen and are very popular. From the street, Craftsman homes feel friendly and down to earth. They usually have a little bit lower roofs, very wide front porches, strong columns, and exposed details that give them a solid, welcoming look. They sit comfortably on the lot without feeling too big or too small. Inside, the layout is usually very easy to live in. You often walk right into a living room, sometimes with a fireplace and built-in cabinets or shelves. The dining area is pretty close by, maybe even open. The bedrooms tend to be very modest in size, but the flow through the house usually makes sense. By modern standards, these homes aren't huge, but they work very well. They usually feel cozy instead of cramped, especially if the original woodwork and details are still there. The natural wood, built-ins, and trim add warmth and make the home feel thoughtfully designed. People who love Craftsman homes are more about how a house feels than how big it is. They like the idea of hanging out on the front porch, walking the neighborhood, feeling connected to their surroundings. Comfort, charm, and everyday usability matter more to them than having the biggest kitchen on the street. Spanish and Spanish Revival is another style you'll see in Willow Glen. These are stucco homes with red tile roofs, arches, and decorative iron or tile details. They have that classic California look that feels timeless when the home is well cared for. Curb appeal is a huge part of the draw here. From the street, these homes often feel elegant and settled. They look like they've been around a while, and they'll still look good 20 years from now. Inside, Spanish-style homes usually feel warm and more enclosed. You often get thicker walls, fewer or more carefully placed windows, and rooms that feel more intimate than wide open. The finishes, plaster, tile, arches, they create a mood and atmosphere more than sheer brightness. Outdoor space is a big deal with this style. Patios, courtyards, and garden areas often work like extra rooms. You might have doors or arches that open right out to a patio where you spend a lot of time when the weather's nice, which in California, you're gonna have a lot of great weather. People who are drawn to Spanish homes usually care a lot about the style and feeling. They want a home that feels established, expressive, and a little romantic. They're less focused on chasing every new interior trend and more focused on that overall vibe of the home day to day. Then you got Tudor homes, some of the most eye-catching homes in the neighborhood. These are the houses that make people slow down and point as they walk by. They often have steep roofs, tall front gables, arched doorways, and sometimes quirky little details that feel almost like a fairy tale. These homes are not trying to blend in, and that's a big part of the appeal. From the outside, they look like something out of an old movie or a children's book, and some buyers love that. Inside, things are usually less simple. Rooms can be smaller, ceilings slow. The floor plan doesn't always follow clean lines. You might find alcoves, nooks, and unusual shapes that make setting up furniture more of a creative project. These houses are not about squeezing out every bit of efficiency. They're about personality. The people who love them are okay with the fact that the home might not be perfect for every stage of life or every furniture layout. They want something that feels special and memorable, even if that means trading in a little practicality. Okay, now let's talk about the mid-century ranch homes. As Willow Glen grew, more of these single-story, long, low homes started to show up, especially as post-war housing expanded. From the street, ranch homes are usually simple, low-key. They're one-story, gentle roof lines, often with bigger front windows and an easy connection to the yard. They sit nicely on the lot and don't shout for attention. Inside, ranch layouts are usually straightforward and easy to live in. You get few or no stairs, a logical flow from room to room, and often a good connection to the backyard through sliding glass doors or big windows. The floor plan may not be totally open, but it rarely feels fussy. These homes appeal to people who care a lot about function. Families with kids, people who plan to stay put for a long period of time, or anyone who prefers single-level living often end up here. Ranch homes are also relatively easy to remodel or open up, which is why many people see them as a great blank slate. Okay, now we gotta talk about Eichlers and mid-century moderns. Eichler homes and mid-century modern properties are their own thing in Willow Glen. Willow Glen is one of the best known Eichler areas in all of San Jose, especially around the Fairglen tract and nearby streets. Eichlers are known for that flat or low-sloped roofs, post and beam construction, atriums, and big walls of glass. They're designed to blur the line between indoors and outdoors, which works really well in our beautiful climate. Many of the Willow Glen Eichlers were built between the late 50s and early 60s, and that mid-century modern look is still a huge draw to this day. Living in an Eichler is very much a lifestyle choice. The homes are open, bright, and visually they're so striking, but there are trade-offs. You have to think about privacy. They have large glass walls. You have to think about temperature control with the older systems and the extra care that comes with that design. For example, because it has a low-pitched or flat roof, you often have more water issues and water being able to seep through because it pools. People who love Eichlers deeply care about design. They want those clean lines. They want the natural light and strong architectural point of view. They're usually okay with the home working differently than a traditional home, and they even lean into it using mid-century furniture, treating the atrium like an extra living room, and so on. Now, let's move on to what homes have been built recently, and that's newer contemporary homes. Over time, as lots have turned over or smaller homes have been replaced, Willow Glen has seen more recent builds mixed into the neighborhood. These are often two-story homes with more square footage and layouts that match what many buyers want today. They have open kitchens, larger great rooms, a proper main suite, more storage, and updated systems. You'll see recessed lighting, bigger closets, newer plumbing and electrical, and often better energy efficiency than older homes. From the outside, some of these homes lean traditional to blend in. Others are more modern with clean lines and larger windows. Either way, the goal is usually to give people Willow Glen's location and community feel, but with today's floor plans and conveniences. These homes tend to attract buyers who like the neighborhood, but don't want to take on an older property. They often value lower immediate maintenance, a more predictable layout, and features like a big kitchen island or a true main suite with a walk-in closet and updated bathroom. There really isn't one style that's better than others. Each one comes with its own trade-offs around charm, efficiency, maintenance, light, privacy, and layout. What really matters is how you live and what you care about in your day-to-day life. Do you cook a lot and want that big open kitchen? Do you work from home and need quiet, separate rooms? Do you host people outside and want a strong indoor-outdoor flow? Or are you more drawn to history and character, even if the floor plan isn't perfect? If you're thinking about Willow Glen, one of the most helpful things you can do is be very honest with yourself about how you actually use your space. That will usually tell you more about which style will fit you than any label or trend. And if you're trying to sort through all of this, style, layout, specific streets, or pockets like the Eichler tracts versus older areas closer to downtown Willow Glen, that's the kind of conversation I have with people all the time. Thanks for hanging out and going through the different styles with me, and hope to see you on the next video.